Hey guys, welcome back. This is Shaf, and today I'm doing something new again. I'm going to be reviewing this Dungeons & Dragons tarot deck. So stick around and see what this video is all about. So before I jump into the actual review, I just have to preface this one because I know it's a bit out of the blue. Those of us who like sports cards and cards in general, either you've never looked at tarot decks or you're judging it based on something, because tarot decks have some of the coolest artwork out there. Like, especially if you like Magic the Gathering, if you haven't opened up a tarot deck, you're just missing out. Like, and if you play D&D, these decks can add a whole lot of randomness and symbolism to your games. But anyway, if you're like a normal watcher of mine who's here for the sports card content, don't feel like you have to watch this, guys. It's all cool. It's all cool. But I know that there's a group of people out here who are just as interested in the art and just possibilities of tarot that I am. And I'm not saying I'm like I'm using it to read my future or anything, but you'll see as I go. I mean, it's hard to explain to somebody who hasn't done it, who might have like a stigma about it, but you'll see as I go. So yeah, I'm going to be reviewing this tarot deck, and I imagine I'll probably be reviewing some others as well, but I'm going to review it based on some criteria. And so first is the box and the manual, artwork, originality, quality, the symbolism and themes of it, and then the price. And all of those are going to add up to a score out of 100. So before anything, I'll kind of just flip through it so that you guys can see what we're working with here. So here we've got Dungeons & Dragons tarot deck. And I've already opened this one because, I mean, you get something like this, you can't wait to open it. It's super cool. I'll flip through this in a little more depth, but here are the beautiful cards. So there's the back. And I won't show all of them because I think it said, there's 78, but here is what we're working with. These are the major arcana. For those of you not familiar with tarot, the major arcana are the ones that like wouldn't be in a normal deck of cards. They're honestly the main cards in a tarot deck. They're the ones with the biggest meaning. And yeah, and then here we start with, I'll get this box out of the way, the ones that could be related to like a deck of cards. So Ace of Strength in this case. In normal tarot decks, the strength would be, I believe, the wand. And in a playing card deck, I'm not sure which suit you would like compare to those, but it could probably switch depending on what you're doing. So anyway, here are all the cards. Obviously, pretty cool looking. But now I'll go into my criteria and start giving this deck a review. So first, I'm going to be rating the box and the manual, and it's out of 10. So that's 10 points out of the 100 score. Obviously, D&D has great marketing. I mean, they've got like a huge budget by this point. The box itself, the fact that it kind of opens like a book, and then it's got this thing is slept on. You put it underneath, and then you can just pull the cards out. The box is great, and then the manual is honestly top notch. A lot of tarot decks have great manuals, and what makes this one good is you can kind of use this deck to make your own random encounters and like plots and stories in D&D. And they like explicitly explain how to do that. So I'll keep flipping through. They list every single card in here. And like if you pull it, you can see like their example of what you could do in a D&D campaign. That's all cool. You know, my big thing about tarot is like the interpretations are unlimited. There's no real wrong way to interpret anything. If you like pull a card and that's how it makes you feel, that must be the right way to feel about it. But yeah, I mean, this booklet just goes above and beyond. So I have to give the box and the manual a 10 out of 10. And I'm going to be pretty hard for the rest of the way, but I mean, the box is like, it's just undoubtedly a 10 out of 10. It's as good as they get. So next I'm going to be going with the artwork. And to start, I mean, what you're going to be seeing most of the time is the back. And I just love how classic and simple the back feels. Like outside of the D20 in the middle, it feels like a normal deck. The one problem I have is the cards should be symmetrical on the flip side as well. You can kind of see the D20. You'd be able to tell that some cards are flipped, with the point at the top and then the point at the bottom there. So that will knock off just a couple points for me, but not too much. So that's the back. Not too bad. The art itself, they could have gone several different ways. They kind of went with like a more smooth, kind of blurry, like paper or water paint like style, rather than what I typically think of D&D as like a very detail-oriented, and these have detail. They're just kind of in a water paint format. Like this one is a good example. But the art, I mean, it's very, very beautiful. Just maybe not what I would think D&D would always be like. But I like it. So really my only major knock is the back of the cards. You can tell when they're flipped. So with that in mind, I'm going to give the artwork a 15 out of 20. They could have, if they had made it so that you couldn't tell if these were flipped, and like a more realistic, detail-oriented cards, I would have given it a 20. But this is just my opinion. I mean, some of you might think that it's 20 out of 20 because the art is incredible. But, okay, originality. Let's see. You know, maybe this is where my biggest thing is. I feel like it's pretty original. I can't knock them here. I'm not like the most experienced when it comes to flipping through tarot decks. But yeah, I mean, all of these are so different. I think it's pretty original. I gotta give them a 20. Ooh, man, I just saw a cool dragon one. Ooh, I like that. All right, they get a 20 for originality. If there's one thing that D&D is, it's unique and original. All right, the quality of the cards. I mean, they feel like playing cards. They're a little bigger, and they kind of have a slight bend to them. But if you have any deck of like playing cards or anything, it will get that over time. I think I'm going to put like a shuffle test in the quality. So let me just see if I can give these a shuffle. I prefer the smaller cards just because they're easier to shuffle. That said, I messed up at the very end there. Like, I'm not the best shuffler in the world, and they're still pretty new, so they're kind of sticking. But There's that. They shuffle pretty well. I think I'll knock them down like 1 point because I prefer a little smaller card. Just one that's more natural in the hand. But some people, like, if you were actually going to go out there and like charge people money to read their fortune, it's way better looking to have a bigger card. But for me, I prefer a smaller card. I'll give them one last shuffle here. I always shuffle twice so that the bend is going both ways. Again, not the best shuffle, but that's okay. Now let's just see if I flipped any. Yeah, you see, I could tell that one of these is flipped based on the diamond in the middle, or not the diamond, the D20. Anyway, the quality, I'll give it a 19 out of 20. Just because it's slightly too big, but that's honestly just a personal preference. So symbolism. I guess to do this, I'll just like pull up a card. Sorry if you guys can hear that freaking crow. What are the odds a crow is going as I am reviewing D&D? My goodness. All right. If you guys didn't hear that, then I just sound like I'm crazy, but that's all right. So the symbolism. We got Queen of Wisdom here. Like, we should be able to pretty easily come up with something like interpretation from this card. So, taking a bath, yeah, I mean, that one's not too bad. 9 of Intelligence. This is where my biggest problem with this deck is. I kind of reviewed it a little bit earlier so that I could have a better thought on this. But these minor arcana, the ones that aren't like the death card or anything like that, if it says 9 of Intelligence, I believe that there should be 9 of something in particular on the card. Like in the original deck, if you get a like 9 of Coins, or they call it 9 of Pentacles, then there's going to be 9 coins on there at some point. Now, it's tougher because they've named this, like, intelligence and strength. I think charisma was another one. So those are, like, intangible things, so it's harder to, like, put that on a card. But if it's 9 of something, I personally believe there should be 9 of, you know, some object on there. And maybe there is, like, you let me know. I'm not counting 9 of anything. So let me find another example. Some of them they do, but okay. 10 of Intelligence. Like, there should be 10 of something on there. Which I'm going to lump this into the symbolism category. Let's see, what is he holding? Thing of flowers or something, but they could have easily put like 10 flowers there. I'm going to put this in the symbolism. Maybe I could have put it in the artwork, but I'm going to put it in there. Outside of that, I mean, they're detailed enough that there's plenty to interpret from this. So, it is kind of a big deal to me. Not a big deal overall. I'm going to give it a 15 out of 20 on symbolism. And then the easy one, price. This is about $25 US. That's about what a tarot deck typically is, I'd say. Maybe it's marked up a little bit because it's D&D. So I think that's a pretty average price, so I'm going to give it what I hope to make an average score in this price category, a 7 out of 10. If, like, there's a beautiful deck of cards for, like, 15 or 10 bucks out there, I'll give that a 10 out of 10. And if they start to go over 25, I'll probably lower that. But that's where I'm going to start. So all the categories are set. Let me do a little math. 25, 45, 64, 79, and then 86 out of 100. Let me double check. They're missing 5 points. 1, 5, 3. I believe 86 is correct. Wait, is it? No, I'm double guessing myself. Oh, yeah, because it's 14 off. Okay, so 86 out of 100 for me on this deck. And that feels pretty accurate. I really enjoy this deck. Let me just get like a fake spread out. I really enjoy this deck, so we would have like the middle. I guess I can't do top and bottom, but I'll just get like a random 3-card spread out. So you would see like, oh, we've got the 3 of intelligence down. In the past, this has led to this, temperance. And in the future, this is like something we could do to correct this or something along those lines. And we've got 2 of intelligence. So then you just either, if you're using this for like an RPG like D&D or a game, you can make an encounter based off this. If you're using this to like just do some introspection and see what you should do with your life, you could go with there too. But I do like these cards. 86 out of 100 feels accurate for me. Yeah, that's the first tarot review. I do recommend you get it. It's really a fun deck, and just the fact that it's already dedicated like to be used in D&D. If you're a D&D player, it's a no-brainer. You should get it. So, appreciate you guys watching. I love the artwork on tarot decks, so I'm probably going to do a couple more reviews in the future. I hope you're interested in it too. If you're not, I'm not sure why you're still watching, but I know somebody out there is. So appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see you in the next one.